information, and a musical finale. Our sponsors, Mitchell's Family Department Stores. There's one in Fairfax on Route 202, or Concord Pike, and one in the Community Plaza on Route 273. Also, the Wilmington Hilton on Namens Road and I-95. We know the end of the summer is near and the beginning of fall when the Arden Fair is playing its part in the life of the community. Not only the Arden community, but the Wilmington community. As a matter of fact, I think people come to the Arden Fair from as far away as California. Former Ardenites think that that is the one time when they can meet old friends and revive memories. And our guest is Mr. Chuck Connor, who has been involved in this Arden Fair for, 33 years?
33 years now, Charlotte.
What do you do for the Arden Fair?
Well, I'm called the barker, if you will, or the information booth, but I've been on the microphone there for 30 years.
And what do you tell the people?
I try to tell the people basically what's going on at the fair. I take some time to talk about the history of Arden because most people aren't aware of the fact that it's a single tax colony.
Nor do they know what a single tax colony is.
That's true. And keep them abreast of what time it is and what the events of the day are and how the day progresses.
Well, let's just make a few minutes interval here before talking about the Arden Fair. What is a single tax colony?
Single tax colony is the old Henry George economic theory of taxing only the land as opposed to the value of the buildings that are on the land. You pay, and particularly in Arden, Ardentown, and Arden Croft, who are the three communities here, basically what you do is you lease the land itself, and you lease it on an annual fee basis, if you will, and then the directors or the board of directors or the trustees, as the case might be in Arden, will take those funds, and then they take care of the school taxes, take care of the roads, the various other requirements as directors or trustees. We sign, as an owner, a 99-year lease, which, if you happen to be around, is automatically renewable. But you can transfer the title of that lease through any of the local lending institutions, and it's not a problem. Historically, it used to be a problem for people who built in Arden because there was no clear title to the property. So banks weren't really interested in loaning you money. Over the past 30 years, that's changed, and it no longer is a problem.
Well, I remember I came to Arden in 1949, and I did have trouble finding financing. Later on, when I bought my house, I had trouble financing. But the Delaware Trust Company recommended me to, I think it was some lending bank, whose name escapes me at the moment. And they took a chance. They took a chance, and happily it worked out.
Well, ironically enough, when we got our mortgage, when we built our house in 1963, we not only built a modern house, which was a problem for a lending institution, but at that particular point in time, the lending institution was having a problem because we were an integrated community, surprisingly enough. And that, of course, was no problem for us. We built a house there and planned to live there the rest of our lives. Things have changed.
Well, things have changed, but the more they change, the more they remain the same.
That's correct.
And that is the case with the Arden Fair. However, it is getting bigger and better, isn't it?
I don't like to use the term bigger and better. I think the Arden Fair remains about the same in terms of size, in terms of the numbers of people who come to the Arden Fair. We try, obviously, to improve it each year, and we digress just a little bit in what we do at the fair in order maybe to attract some people who we might have missed. But basically, it's a crafts fair. It's that has a lot of crafts in it, a lot of crafts people. A lot of these people are local Arden people, crafts people. There also is an art exhibit. We have things for the kids so that we can kind of keep them out of mother and dad's way a little bit with pony rides and various kinds of rides and games and face painting and that sort of thing. On the other hand, there are a lot of people who come here strictly to go to the flea market. to see if they can find a bargain. And we've had exhibitors in that flea market from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, of course, Delaware, down in Maryland. Just a great variety of people who display at the flea market.
Excuse me. What else? It is not, I hasten to say, it is not the Italian type, the Italian, what is it, the Italian fair? Festival. It is not as raucous, shall we say?
That's fair.
It is a very special type of fair. Can you somehow describe the difference?
Well, the thought went through my mind because my wife and I visited the Delaware State Fair recently, and I used some comparison there. Most of your fairs have lots of large rides, the Ferris wheel, the rockets, that sort of thing for children, as probably 50% of the fair is made up that way. The Arden Fair is designed to expose for one day only, and I think this is an important piece of the success of the Arden Fair. Bear in mind, everyone in the community joins together on a Friday night to put the fair together for that one-day fair. Sunday afternoon, if you walked the same grounds, you wouldn't know there had been anything on those grounds the day before. That's a remarkable achievement. Most fairs in our community are week-long affairs or 4 or 5 day affairs at least. But the Arden Fair itself, to get back to your question, deals with, to some degree, the sentient man a little bit too, and tries to draw in the children with somebody like Pete Renzetti, who is an old, he wouldn't appreciate that, but he is at this stage of the game, a little bit of an old Ardenite, who, by the way, is a certified blacksmith. Pete can work with the smallest type of metal iron work in his forge up to doing monstrous types of things. But he will bring the children in, if you will, while he's working so they can watch him work. Historically, we've always had someone who can weave, who's a potter, with a potter wheel. Youngsters can watch the potter's wheel. We've had people who would have spinning wheels. And each year we try to vary this a little bit so youngsters can get this kind of exposure. We have usually artwork either from watercolors to oils to various kinds of carvings. And a lot of our craftspeople who have crafts booths will have carvings or different kinds of handiwork, and they will demonstrate at times so you can see how this is done. The Folk Dance Guild, for example, will do a half-hour demonstration, and it's not square dancing. It is truly ethnic folk dancing from different parts of the world, and generally is in costume. To go back to Americana, you usually have the Delaware Symphony Band, state band, which will come in and play good old Americana music for 2 hours. Absolutely. And of course, I'm a great Sousa fan, so I get enthused about this. And Joe Neff originally brought them in, gee whiz, maybe 10, 12 years ago. And they played for a couple of hours. This year, for example, we're going to have a barbershop quartet. Now, I don't recall in my recent memory a barbershop quartet being in the beer garden to sing to the group.
But apropos beer garden.
Absolutely.
You have to tell them that.
And we do have a beer garden, which is down under the trees behind the Guild Hall. Next to the swimming pool. There are benches and tables there, and it is a regular reunion every year for both the youngsters and oldsters. My kids now are all in their 30s. Any way they possibly can will come back to the Arden Fair. I have a son coming back from Denver who is coming specifically for the Arden Fair, and he will collect down there for the afternoon just to visit with old friends. It's delightful. It's one of the neat things of my job as an announcer. I see people usually once a year this way, and we renew old acquaintances either through eye contact or a hug or whatever while I'm blaring away on a microphone. It's neat.
And you have a booth for that?
That's correct. And I use that to a little bit to test the audience in terms of what don't you like, what do you like about the fair, what is it, excuse me, that where are you going, what are you looking for, what do you need, everything from restrooms to hamburgers to What's your specialty of the day?
I didn't mention that in one sentence. But you know what? We haven't even said when it is.
I'm sorry, and you're absolutely right, and it's late this year. We're on September the 5th, which is a Saturday, always Labor Day, Saturday, Labor Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The fair really opens officially at 10 a.m., although we have people there earlier than that, and it closes at 6 p.m., and that's when I shut off the microphone, and it's 6 p.m.
Yes.
I might say this, I can almost, and maybe I should knock on your desk, I can almost guarantee no rain. In the 33 years that I've been at the Arden Fair, it has rained once. And the rain date would be then Monday, the Labor Day.
Let me touch you. And you have some secret method of keeping
It is incredible.
away the rain.
It just is. We've always been blessed with just nice weather.
Yeah, well, after all that effort that is put in by volunteers.
All volunteers.
How many?
Well, I was looking over a list a couple of nights ago. There are 40 committee chairmen,
Mm-hmm.
and they are all volunteers from the various guilds in the
And
community.
of course, they're committee chairmen, and then there are their what do you call it, peons?
Well, they're committee people, or persons,
Committee
if you
people.
will.
Yeah.
The neat thing about it also, Charlotte, is the fact that it is an all-volunteer effort.
Mm-hmm.
You have been in enough Arden town meetings to know some of the hassles that people get into because it's traditionally a democratic meeting, and people have full right to stand up.
Town meeting.
That's correct. To stand up and hassle each other, sometimes good-naturedly and sometimes not so good-naturedly. But people pull together for the Arden Fair. It's incredible the amount of people that come out and say, hey, this is my day to contribute. And there's a reason for this. As you know, the funds go for basically the maintenance of the Guild Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And which is the headquarters, if you will, or the home base for the various guilds in the community, the committees, if you will.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing. Guilds, for those who listen to us for the first time, or listen or hear about the Arden Fair for the first time, the construction of our city town government. Would you explain that?
Well, the word guild, and it's G-I-L-D, comes from the old English union, if you will, or trade guilds.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the various guilds in the community, you have, and I'll use the term as a committee, is the library committee, if you will, the library guild, the gardeners guild, the swim guild,
the folk dance guild,
and you can
Arden
go
Singers.
Arden Singers, even the good old Gilbert and Sullivan people from all of these are guilds of which you join, just as you would join another club, if you will.
Do you have to be an Ardenite to join the guild?
You do not.
To join the club?
You do not have to be, and that's another neat piece of it. And that's one of the things that we try to tell people during the Arden Fair. Mm-hmm. Hey, if you see something you'd like to join, especially the folk dancers, a lot of people are intrigued with that. Come in on Wednesday night and dance with the folk dancers. I talk about my having been there for 33 years like that's something really unusual, but it's interesting to put it in a proper perspective. And as you know, Ray Gerstein, who is the community treasurer,
yes, Ray
will be, I think I'm correct, 94 in October.
Yes.
Ray Gerstein still dances every Wednesday night. Now, to put it in proper perspective, for her to have been there 33 years, she would have started at my current age, and I'm 60. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how long she's been here forever. It's incredible. People who have been here doing this for years and years and years.
Well, she was, Ray Gersten was on this program, and she is a wonderful lady and much involved in everything that goes on. She is blessed with good health.
Indeed.
And a brain that still works 100%. Which is also a bonus, and we have a theory. Arden keeps you young.
I think that's fair. Indeed, it does, both mentally and physically.
Yes, because we are not judged by anything, and we don't judge anybody by anything except is he a good guy or a bad guy, right? There's no no emphasis on monetary wealth. everybody builds the house that he wants to live in. Nobody objects, except that he doesn't bother his neighbor.
That's correct. It's just it's what drew us to Arden, if you will, and we moved here from the Midwest. But it's a community of about 300 families, come from all ethnic sides of the world, come from all economic sides of the world, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And crazy conglomeration, if I can use that term, of dwellings in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just neat. I keep overusing that term, but I don't know how to best describe them.
Well, it's so different from the other developments, because the other developments are really keeping up to the Joneses, and there are these stone houses or the brick houses, but in Arden you see one big one next to a little one, next to a shack, next to almost a palace with its own tennis court and things like that, and we all like that because it is so different.
Well, there's another piece too that is difficult to describe. When you walk through the community of Arden, you're really wandering almost through a woods that has streets carved in it, because there are no straight streets to my knowledge, certainly not more than a block or two.
Yes.
And originally, we even had our own school here in Arden, and it was just
a post office.
Correct. I didn't know that.
Yes,
that's
we
right.
had a
That's
post
up
office.
At the Arden store, I guess.
Yes, and we had a sort of a grocery store here. This was before I came. The post office was here when I came. Yes, we had a post office.
How about that?
But all this is gone now. However, it is still now. We have a wonderful swimming pool. We didn't have that. We were swimming in the water, in the woods, and it was wonderful. But of course, this is a little more hygienic.
Well, and of course, the surrounding developments have grown significantly, but it still is a marvelous place to raise your family.
So, if you want to come, if you come to the Arden Fair on the 5th of September,
5th of September.
It's for one day only.
One day only.
From 10 o'clock in the morning until 6 at night, and that's it.
And there's plenty of parking.
Yeah.
Plenty of parking.
Outside of the...
Both in the community, on the green over in Arden, also down at the Montessori School, and there's a shuttle service from the school up to the grounds.
That.
Yes. So you don't need to worry about parking. Harvey Road obviously is a disaster to try to park on, and that's not allowed. But there is plenty of parking.
Open spaces where you can park. And if you feel like it, walk around a little bit. Take a look. Walk those little paths, and you will enjoy it.
It's also important to note that during this economic period that we have right now, there's really no charge to come to the Arden Fair. Now, to go to the flea market or for some of the games and things like that, there is a charge. But basically, to walk around the fairground and see what's there.
And enjoy what is offered.
And enjoy what's offered. There's no charge.
Our guest has been Chuck Connor, and he is the, shall we say, Master of Ceremonies of the Arden Fair, behind a microphone telling you where to go, what to do, and how to enjoy yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charlotte.